with another edition of Uncensored Sports, in which we'll be talking about the topics that have been going on in sports throughout the week, from the NFL to the NBA to soccer to hockey to DJing, all that. It's all a sport to us, so we're gonna get into everything.
To DJing.
Yo, Ty Wilk, introduce yourself to the peoples.
You know what I'm saying? What's up with y'all? You know, we here to bring quality content only. You feel me? That's definitely how we rocking right now.
You already know.
We're coming in trouble with another episode of this great show by Brett. I just want to say thank you, Brett, for bringing me on the show again.
Before we start the stream, before we get into the topics, I just want to say thank you guys for supporting us. I know we haven't been streaming every day. Like we said, we switched up our schedule a little bit. So we're going to stream today, and then we're going to stream Monday and Tuesday. We're off Wednesdays and Thursdays. You just personal choice just because of, working and family issues. So that's how we're going to do things today. We'll go over 5 of our NFL games. We handpicked 5 games. We'll predict it. We'll analyze it.
4. We're going to talk about the Thursday night football. So.
Okay, yeah, well...
no, you're right. My fault. No, you're right. I'm sorry.
So we handpicked 5. So we're gonna go over that, and then we'll get into some of the big topics in the NBA. There's been some crazy stuff happening, including Jimmy Butler. We'll get into that a little later. So Tyler, let's start this show. Let's get it started, boy.
Well, okay. Let's start with Thursday night football. Yesterday there was a game, Giants and the Eagles. The Giants are now off to a 1-5 start, but the good thing for them, Saquon had a great game yesterday.
Oh man, he's what everybody expected. He's that prototypical, running back who has everything. He excels at every little part of being a running back, including in between the tackles, outside. He's very hard to tackle. One man can't bring him down. I know yesterday a lot of Philly guys were trying to bring him down with one arm. That's not nearly enough to stop that beast. And then on top of all of that, on top of the strength that he has, on top of the thickness in his thighs that he has, he also has the ability to break away in space, and that is important as a running back. Yesterday we seen a lot of great things from him, and he pretty much put the Giants' offense on his back. I know a lot of those receivers are feeling Eli Manning's lack of getting them the ball, being able to throw the deep ball. So, Saquon to me is he's just a great, and I know a lot of people in the media say this, but to me he's the greatest running back prospect coming out of college we've ever seen. A couple years ago we said the same thing about Zeke, and I think Barkley surpasses Zeke, although they excel at some of the same stuff, the hurdles. They're very athletic in their own right. I think what Saquon has over Zeke is the, how do you say, the burst after, like I said, in space, the burst in space. He has that, but man, Saquon played a great game. But I want to get into a little bit of that that Odell situation. I don't know if you've seen, but yesterday Odell was punching the air conditioner, trying to flirt with it and shit. Like it was just a lot of extra going on with him. And I just want do you think these antics help the Giants, or do you think it's like setting them back? And do you think they feel regret in signing Odell to a long-term contract? That's what I want to ask you. So yes, and then I think they do show a little bit of regret and show in Odell that contract. So how you feel, Ty?
Odell, there's no question about it. Odell has the talent, he has the skill and all that. It's just these off the field things that he be doing. I think they gotta stop, because that's not gonna help your team. Just like it was last week, right? With I forgot the nigga's name. The other wide receiver started throwing shit on the sideline. Like you're rubbing off on your team.
Yeah.
Like you're not giving your team a good image. None of that. Going in the interview politely talking shit about your team is, I don't think, like, all these things all combined in one aren't ways to go about anything. It's not hard to talk to your team in the locker room. Y'all all go in there after the game. If you want to talk about something to someone on your team, that's the place to do it. Not to the media, not to the public. That's how I feel about it. But contract extension, I don't blame him for giving him a contract extension. He's what, top 3, top 4 receiver in the league?
Yeah, I think he with a quarterback to throw him the ball, I think he's top 2. And but for me, like I disagree with Odell last week when he was during that interview. But, you know, after seeing
Yeah.
last night's game, you can kind of see where his frustration comes from. It's not a lack of him being able to get open or the receivers being able to get open. It's just a lack of the quarterback being able to make the throw, and that right there can get frustrating when you're not. When the problem specifically is that your team is not putting up enough points to keep up with the other team, and your quarterback is not able to make the throws to put points on the board, it becomes a problem for Odell. You know, the fact that Saquon Barkley was the only person getting things started on the ground, it says a lot, because when you have your ground game running, it makes a lot of things a lot easier for the QB. And I think Eli just, he didn't take advantage of Saquon's big game. I think they balance off of each other, the passing and the running game. You know, I feel like Eli Manning is just cooked. He's cooked at this point. He can't. He's not going to be able to get to his old form, and I think the Giants made a mistake this year in this last year's draft. Look, Saquon Barkley is a great pick. You know what I'm saying? Like, generational talent. He has the makings to be a legend in this game. But I would say one thing: at this point, there's a bigger need than running back on the Giants. On the Giants roster, it is definitely quarterback their biggest need. And last year I seen that. I just don't understand how people didn't see this the last 3 years. And then added to that, like, I seen a post on Twitter yesterday. It says that Eli Manning and the Giants have been on losing streaks every year the past 7 years. Every single year the past 7 years, they've been on 4 games, 3 games, 4 games, 5 games, multiple 4 games a couple years back. Like, they've been on a really bad losing streak. So this is not a new thing with the Giants. They're not like, oh, so a team that used to be great and then now they're not great. It's like every stop, in the last 7 years, they've really had a tough time getting things together. I think Eli hasn't been the same since that last Super Bowl championship. We're just now seeing it. And furthermore, I think he's going to end up ruining his career. Like, the kind of bad spotlight he can get right now is going to be worse than anything he's been through in his career. He's getting looked at like as a bad quarterback. And Eli Manning, in his younger days, was far from a bad quarterback. But let's contrast. The Giants traded up to get Eli Manning. They traded Phillip Rivers to get Eli Manning. Phillip Rivers, who was an MVP candidate this year, and Eli Manning, who's falling off the biggest cliff he could possibly fall off. I think the Giants have to, in some way or form, regret that 2004 draft, because Phillip Rivers looks like a stud even at this old age. So
I wouldn't say regret it. I mean, he still has 2 Super Bowl rings over the best dynasty in football history.
It's not the regret that I think that they should have. I think when you ask for a quarterback, look, rings are good, rings are great, rings are what you get quarterbacks for. But if they're gonna get those rings and then force you to go into a rebuild, look, the Giants have had 7 bad seasons in a row. They made the playoffs a couple seasons ago. Odell went on that boat trip. He took all the wide receivers. They didn't show up that game against the Packers. It's been a lot of stuff, since that last Super Bowl ring. I understand the 2 Super Bowl rings that bodes well for a franchise.
Oh yeah,
but I think the Steelers.
I think that they should. I think they should go for a new quarterback in next off season or even this season. And I think Eli should retire. I think it's time for him to call it quits. I feel like if he has one fucked up year, like this year it's really like showing that it's him. So like the previous years, it's not really like, yo, Eli needs to go. That to me, it just started this year. So I feel like if he was to retire after this year, his legacy wouldn't be too much.
Well, and here's what we know. Here's what we're not talking about when it comes to the Giants. Last year they fired their head coach Ben McAdoo. He benched Eli. He benched Eli last year. He received a lot of hate for it from the die-hard Giants fans. Like, Eli is the OG, like, he's been a quarterback. He's gotten us 2 rings. Why would you bench him? And he obviously seen something that we're all seeing now. Like, Eli Manning is not capable of being a starting quarterback in this league. And I think that I was watching First Take this morning, and Max said there's 32 quarterbacks better than him. I think there's even more than that. I think there's at least 40 quarterbacks in the league right now, backups and starters, that are better than Eli Manning. And the thing is, when you can't get the ball to your receivers, there's no way they can be productive. So a lot of the blame that's going on Odell or Sterling Shepard or the weapons in general, it shouldn't be going on them. The O-line has played formidable. They haven't played as bad as last year. Last year they played worse, and the Giants, a couple games they won. And this year they won 1 game, and they've kind of fell off this hypothetical cliff, and it's crazy. So I just think Eli Manning is done. Now, like you said, they need to go out and get a quarterback next year. And then, some of the quarterbacks in the draft next year are really good. Justin Herbert from Oregon, Drew Lock from Missouri. Like, these guys are really good talent. So, hopefully the Giants get, what they're looking for next year, and so they can utilize those weapons.
I'm about to say, next year might be their year. Shit.
Yeah. I mean, you never know. To me, and I'm saying this as a Jet fan, Sam Darnold plugged into that Giants offense with those weapons. I think with Saquon, like, I know it would never happen because they either had the choice to pick Saquon or Sam Darnold. But let's say just magically Sam Darnold was on that team, they'll be a winning team this year. They'll have Super Bowl potential because Sam Darnold's a young arm.
Yeah.
He has a rejuvenated arm. He knows how to make those downfield throws as we've seen this last week, or even Baker Mayfield. And Baker Mayfield on that team, they would be killing shit. Baker Mayfield with Odell, that would be something different. But yeah, the Giants are no good. And I want to, before we end this topic right here, Thursday Night Football, I want to get to the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles, they showed up yesterday. What they were lacking in was points, putting points on the board. Carson Wentz looked really, really well, looked like himself at the beginning of last season. He looked really good. Alshon Jeffrey got some touches. Nelson Aguilar has been having a really bad season. He had a couple big plays, and that bodes well for that offense. Jerry Jai is out for the season, as you know. Darren Sproles is still nicked up. They don't have a running back. I heard they're in talks to try to get Le'Veon Bell, a couple other running backs. But I know that they don't look the same to me, but that don't mean that they could be a very good team this year. Carson Wentz he looked really well yesterday, and that defense played really great yesterday. So I don't know how you feel about those Eagles.
I feel like the Eagles are still underrated, but I definitely would agree with you that they're not the same Eagles. You said that the last 3-4 weeks now. Seems like forever. Now, you said that the last couple of weeks, and I agree with you, but I feel like they're still an underrated team. All around, they have a good defense, and they definitely
have a great defense.
They just need to. I feel like they could perform better. It's just they need to get to that point. I don't think they're going to be a big threat in the Super Bowl conversation this year, but I feel like they could definitely make the playoffs and at least get through a couple rounds.
Yeah, I feel the same way.
But
so that's it for Thursday Night Football. It wasn't really a lot to talk about yesterday because it was a blowout. You know how those go. So, we just gonna move on to the next topic. Ty,
this game is for both of us, but strictly for you because I know you've been watching this game a lot over the last couple days. How you feel about our game going into Sunday, the Jets and the Colts?
Well, obviously, like you said, is a game where we both have, fan interest in. I root for the Jets. You root for the Colts. For me, it comes down to taking advantage of who's not there for Indianapolis. We can only worry about who's there. So Andrew Luck, we should expect to see. This is no joke. I know we're in an era where we feel like this number should have gone down, but we should be seeing at least 50 to 60 passes from Andrew Luck this week. If we can force him to throw at 50%, I think we're putting ourselves in a good position to win. On top of that, they don't have a great running game. We don't have to worry about that dynamic. And don't get it wrong. The Colts are nicked up, but the Jets they're as nicked up in that secondary. There's 2 starting cornerbacks are out for the game. So there's a lot of stuff for the Jets they have to overcome too. But I do believe that the Jets can win this game if they play how they're supposed to play. Isaiah Crowell coming off a big game, 219. He hasn't practiced the last 2 days, but somehow I feel like he will play on Sunday, which will be much needed. If we can get that run game going, get Sam Darnold some easy play action throws, some deep field throws, that would be really good for our offense. As for the Colts, do you want to get to the Colts? Do you want to handle that team?
There's not much to really say. The Colts are. You're saying nicked up. I think that's an understatement. We got our second string defense in right now. It's really horrible because I'm telling you, Brett, like I've said before, we lead the league in the most lost players per game. Like, we lose players left and right. So I don't know. Like I said, I want my team to win, but I think the Jets are gonna win that one. But like we both said earlier, it's either gonna be a bad blowout or a really close game. That's all I can really say.
Yeah, I hear you.
I do think Andrew Luck is gonna have a great game because, like you said, y'all two starting corners is out. So he would have should have gotten them too, but now that your backups are in.
Last week against albeit it's Case Keenum and Andrew Luck, there ain't no comparison. Our 2 corners was out then too. Our second starting cornerback, he got injured in the first quarter, like a couple minutes in, so he wasn't playing that whole game, and we fared well. And Case Keenum has a lot of weapons on that offense. So if we can do the same, like we don't got to worry about T.Y. Hilton. We don't got to worry about starting tight end Jack Doyle. We don't got to worry about a lot of people, a couple offensive line pieces.
I've seen that Eric Ebron is questionable, I think.
But he's gonna play. Eric Ebron, that's probably who. Hopefully. Like, going into this game, I would like, especially on the defense, for the Jets to game plan against Eric Ebron. He leads the league and tight end touchdowns. Like that right there is impressive in his own right. He used to have a lot of drop passes. He's getting into his own with a quarterback who can actually get him the ball and make him effective in the game. But for the Jets, this is a case of a must-win game. You can't go down 2-4 in this division. You can, if you find your way. They went through a little bad 3-game skid, but Sam Darnold is the perfect quarterback for us to get through that 3-game losing streak that we just had. He weathered the storm. He got that kind of coolness, and a lot of people, they say that California cool that he has. He does have that California cool. He's just chill. He keeps the same face on during wins or losses. That's how a team learns to trust you. When you don't get too flustered in a loss, when you don't get too high over a win, that's when your teammates start to trust you. And I think that's what we're witnessing in the Jets locker room. The teammates trust Sam Darnold, and it's been a while where we could say our teammates trusted our quarterback. This is a must-win for the Jets. Get up to 3-3.
I feel like it's a must-win for both teams, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It is a must-win for both teams, but specifically the Jets because they've had a question coming off of winning. They had that question for a while now. After they win a big game, they lose the next week. They need to win. You need to win these games. This is a game that they should win. Just like you say, your team is way more nicked up than my team. Although my team is nicked up, this is a team that we should beat. Just based off how our convincing victories. This is a team that we really should beat. So that's all I gotta say. I think the Jets need to come out and win this game, just for the critics to stop talking shit.
All right, now to our debate. We're gonna fucking win.
Okay.
That's all I have to say. We're gonna win.
Yeah. Y'all gonna win.
Delusional. I mean, y'all don't have anyone on your team better than Andrew Luck. So Andrew Luck's gonna be out there for defense and offense. I mean, we're straight. We're good. We're golden.
I mean, Andrew Luck has to throw the ball 660 times to get 400 yards in the game.
Listen, all I'm saying is don't throw in Andrew Luck's area because he's going to be playing safety on defense. Don't throw in his area, all right? That's an easy pick.
He said we won't have nobody on our team better than Andrew Luck. Okay. I know my quarterback won't go skiing there, injure his shoulder. That's all I got to worry about. But anyway, to the next game.
You're going to make me say, you're going to make me say some real foul shit in a minute.
I mean, you could. You could say whatever you got to say for me.
I ain't going to say shit.
Oh, your quarterback is this. My quarterback is a rookie. My quarterback is a rookie.
Your quarterback is a bitch. That's what your quarterback is.
That's a good offense. That's a good comeback.
Let me stop.
That's a good comeback right there, bro. Got a lot to do with football. Anyway.
Alright. Fuck you. Alright. We got 4 more games that we picked out. Alright, we're gonna start with Brett. Your game, you got the Jags and the Cowboys. How you talk about your game, Keith?
That's my game?
Yeah, that's one of the games that you picked.
Alright, I got the Cowboys in this one. Now, I'm being a little biased. My dad's been a lifelong Cowboys fan. But I do feel like this team has some talent. A lot of people want to overlook this team, and rightfully so. They haven't been playing well on offense, but they have been playing well on defense. And Blake Bortles is coming off an atrocious game. Tyler, you know how Blake Bortles is. You know what we expect from him every week. Yeah, like we know what we expect from him every week. So I think the Cowboys, if they get exactly 5 turnovers, if they can, like I said, it all comes down to this for the Cowboys every week.
Worse than Baker Mayfield.
I know. Every week it comes down to this. If they can establish the run game with Zeke, that is so key for the Dallas Cowboys game plan. They can establish the run game with Zeke. They can get a couple easy throws for Dak, and that defense plays well. I don't see a team that can't. I don't think they. It's impossible to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have a great defense, yes, but their offense really is underwhelming. A lot of people don't see how bad their offense really is. They're 2 big, deep threats they got rid of in the offseason. Wide receiver, they're not good at wide receiver anymore. They got Dante Moncrief. Andrew Luck worked with him. He's not a great route runner. He's not great. They got Corey Grant. He's not great. So in terms of Dallas, if they can put pressure to Blake Bortles, I think this game is easily within their reach. They just gotta establish that run game, and Zeke gotta get going. Last week, a lot of those runs was on Zeke, where he wasn't getting through the hole, he wasn't firing the hole, just vision problems. This week, you gotta take what the offensive line gives him, and Dak Prescott gotta start making some better throws and more accurate throws. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys for that one over the Jaguars.
Cowboys are gonna lose.
Okay, that's his opinion. And
you got anything else to say about that game?
Nah.
Alright, well, let's go into one of my games. I got the Ravens and the Titans. I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a low-scoring game. Exactly. Everyone's gonna be yawning. Everyone's yawning at Titans game because how many games have they had this season that haven't been double-digit games? I mean, both of them are really good defensive teams. The Ravens are the best defense, like #1 in defense this season. I don't know. Brett usually knows the numbers, but I mean, and the Titans also have a really underrated defense. If you ask me, I like their defense. They've held a lot of teams to single digits and they forced overtime a few times. I mean, they lost last week, but that's to the weak ass Bills. I don't know how to say. I don't know how to feel about that. I mean, Marcus Mariota came off a game against the Eagles and did not show up last week. So hopefully he can do better this week going against the Ravens. I doubt it, but I really feel like the Titans defense is going to keep them in it. I mean, Joe Flacco's been having a good season. A great season at that. I mean, I feel like it's going to be a really close game. I think neither team's going to get more than 14 points. And I think it's really going to go down to the wire and be a field goal difference in this game. That's what I really think is going to happen.
That's a good amount. Alright, what game?
It's all defense.
Yeah, you got
next game.
Let's see. You got anything else to say about that Ravens Titans game?
Nah. It's all defense now. And you got the Chargers and the Browns.
Yeah. Who would have thought, right? The Chargers and the Browns. That
who
game
thought
3
they were
years ago
playing this week?
That game 3 years ago would have been, I don't know, 0 viewers watching that shit. But this year, both teams are actually playing really well. Phillip Rivers and Melvin Gordon have found some chemistry. Keenan Allen, those guys are really doing well on offense. That defense is playing good. And I think Joey Bosa returns in a couple weeks. I know that had nothing to do with this game, but that just shows the improvement of how good this team can be with everybody back. And they're going up against the Browns. The Browns, Baker Mayfield has led this team to not 2 straight wins, but 2 wins on the season, which is more than they had in 18 years. So, I'm joking. But look, that's a lot of, that's more wins than they had last year, way more wins.
And even the game that he lost, even his first game that he lost,
he was
still put up 42 points.
He was competitive, and that's you can tell the Browns culture is changing. This week, I'm going to go with the Chargers because I feel like the Chargers offense is more prolific when it gets started rather than Baker Mayfield. You seen last week going up against that Ravens defense, Baker couldn't get anything started for the first 4 quarters. He made a big throw in overtime. Basically, the running game got him to where he needed to go at the end. I do think that defense of the Browns is really, really freaking talented. They can get at any quarterback. They have that stud rookie quarterback, Denzel Ward. He has already, I think, 4 interceptions. It's been kind of crazy how he's been playing. And a lot of people want to talk about Baker being the most impressive rookie in the league. But I think he's not even the most impressive rookie on the Browns. I think Denzel Ward is definitely the most impressive rookie on the Browns. He has performed. The veterans have praised him. He has done everything he's been asked to do in that secondary. I think this game will go down to the wire. Like, the Browns can't escape close games. They're not a great team to the point where they blow teams out. They can't escape great games. So, I think the Chargers win on a field goal. And if anything, they win on a field goal. I wouldn't say that they can't win by a touchdown. Or I think it can go either way. But I do think the Chargers will win. Touchdown or field goal around there. I don't think it's going to be anything past 7. So, I do think the Chargers will win, and I think Baker will have a good game this week. I just think they'll come. It'll be in a losing effort. They'll come up short. So that's my predictions for my second game, Chargers versus Browns. And then for Tyler, we're gonna get to
Alright, so my second and our last NFL game is I got the Pats and Chiefs. I feel like this is gonna be the best game of the week. I don't know if you would agree with that, bro. I feel like this is after the Jets and Colts game. This is definitely the game of the week.
None of them is the game.
Alright. No. Before I start, what's the game of the week, bro?
The Bills and Texans. What you talking about? Anyway.
Would they play this week?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Let me stop. But I mean, the Patriots, like you said, they got the greatest coach of all time and a great defensive-minded coach. So, with the best offense in the league with the Chiefs, I mean, Patrick Mahomes was finally pushed to throw 2 interceptions last week. So maybe the Patriots defense can do a little bit better. Maybe get them to score a little bit less points, not 30, maybe like 20. I think the Patriots win this game, honestly. I know we both agreed that the Chiefs win, but I'm gonna change my mind. That's gonna be my upset. I got the Patriots winning this one. I got the Patriots winning 28-21.
I don't think, and if I can speak on this game, I know it's yours, but I'll speak on it.
Hmm.
I don't think that the Patriots can keep up points wise with that high octane offense. I think that those Patriots cornerbacks are going to get exposed by Tyreek Hill, Kareem Hunt, Chris Conley, and those guys, Sammy Watkins, and those guys. They're going to get exposed. And obviously I'm being a little biased here because I'm a Jets fan. I hate the Patriots, but I genuinely think the Chiefs are a team that can potentially push 16-0 this year. That's like, I know we're far from that. We're only in week 6, but the talent that they have on that offensive side, and the calm and the poise of Patrick Mahomes, and everything that he
The only
has.
team that I think, the only team I think can do anything near 16-0 is the Rams. I don't think the Chiefs got it in them.
You said St. Louis?
Yeah. No. That nigga said you said St. Louis.
we talking
My dumb ass said yeah.
You talking about the Rams?
Yeah, the Los Angeles Rams, my nigga.
I don't think the
16.
Rams.
I think they can do it.
I don't think they could do it. I think that the Rams they're injured a lot. I think they'll lose one of these next 2 games they got coming up. I gotta check what they're playing, but I think they'll lose one of those
the
games.
Colts are injured a lot, and they about to win the rest of the games this season.
Okay. Anyway,
Same with the Jets, bro. After this week, they're gonna start winning too.
While I respond to David, he says the Chiefs burn out every season. The difference between the Chiefs this year and the Chiefs every other season is that they have a new quarterback. Alex Smith, when it came down to the wire, when he had to make a big throw over fucking 10, 15 yards, he couldn't make those throws. Last year is when Alex Smith really flashed potential to throw the ball downfield, but in the playoffs, he lost all of that momentum throwing the ball downfield. He wouldn't go there. He wanted to play it safe.
Nah, they really do.
Patrick Mahomes.
The Chiefs always start off good.
Patrick Mahomes throws the ball downfield when he needs to throw the ball downfield. He throws it downfield a lot, and that's important for an offense to get big plays. Alex Smith, he used to hold them back in that sense, where he couldn't make the big play when needed. I do think Patrick Mahomes will make a couple big plays this week. They get them to win. I think the Chiefs keep rolling. The Patriots move to 3-3. They moved to 3-3, and all is right with the world if the Jets win. Then we're 3-3 with the Patriots. So let's go.
I doubt that happens. I got the Patriots winning, moving on to 4-2, being number 1 in their division.
Anyway, moving on.
Nope, we're not moving on. The Jets are gonna lose poorly. They're gonna get. Let me stop. All right, that's really all we have for our football topics. But on to the interesting week 4, the last couple days for basketball, specifically the Timberwolves fans. I mean, Jimmy Butler out here dropping niggas off with the 3rd string team and shit.
Boo! Jimmy's trash. Nah, I'm lying, bro.
Bet you is. I'm about to say, I bet you want his ass though, don't you?
Hey, the Knicks haven't made a call. I'm fine with that. We ain't giving up no young assets for nobody.
That nigga Brett said the Jimmy Butler Timberwolves traded Jimmy Butler to the Knicks. Yo, I love Jimmy Butler.
All right, shut the fuck up, Ty. Shut up. All right, it's my time to talk about Jimmy. I see a lot of people criticizing Jimmy.
Talk about his practice.
I see a lot of people criticizing Jimmy for what he did, saying that that's not what leaders do. That's not what leaders do. Nigga, I heard worse stories. I heard worse stories with Mike. I heard worse stories with Kobe.
Didn't he snuff Steve Kerr?
Yeah, I heard worse stories with Kobe. Like, Jimmy Butler wasn't going in there shooting his hands. He was daring somebody to be a man and speak up. Nobody did it. Probably his problem with the Timberwolves now. They have a lot of kids on that team who don't know how to man up and toughen up when it's time to do that.
Yeah, and that's what he said in the interview too. He said no one's honest.
Like
he said it. Like that, and that's ridiculous. I mean, if you can't be honest with your own team, then like, what's the point of being on the team?
Exactly, niggas. Like he probably feel like there's a lot of shade being thrown at him from the back. You feel me? A lot of shit talking from the back. With Jimmy went in there. He proved what he had to prove. Look, y'all need me to win, and I want to trade. So you're not gonna have me to win. So that's that. Jimmy went in there. He played with those 3rd stringers. He did well with those 3rd stringers. He bust Booty out. We ain't see no tape, but I'm sure he bust Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins, he's I don't know what that guy's like. What is he? Like, what is he? Is he a small forward, a shooting guard? Because he don't do nothing exceptionally well. He can't shoot the ball well. He's athletic, but he barely gets to the rim. No, it don't matter. It all means nothing if you can't put it all together in your his 4th, 5th year. Like, you still haven't put it all together. Like, at least in that trade, the Cavs can say that, look, we got somebody that when LeBron leaves, we can build around him, and that's Kevin Love. But the Timberwolves, you went through Chris Dunn, Zach LaVine, you traded all that. You traded Laurie Markkinen, You traded that dude who could be the next Porzingis. You traded those guys to get Jimmy Butler, who doesn't want to be there no more. So no Jimmy Butler. So all you got is Cat, and you got Andrew Wiggins, who still hasn't come into his own. I think when Jimmy Butler went in there, he proved to the GM like, you need me. He proved to the coach that you need me, and that's all he really had to do, because now they know that Jimmy Butler, without Jimmy Butler, this train will not run on a straight course. They will have a lot of ups and downs this season. They will not be contending for any championships anytime soon, unless they get a star. So
I mean, but like right after that practice, he had an interview with, I forgot her name,
Rachel Nichols,
on ESPN, and I mean, he said that it's fixable, but he doesn't think it's gonna be fixed, which I don't know. I mean, I feel like trust is a big issue. Like it's a big thing that you should have when you're working on the team. I mean, trust comes with communication and all that extra stuff. So if you can't trust to communicate with someone off court, or even about the small things going on in game, if I tell you something, you take it the wrong way because I'm trying to better you and better the team, I think that's sad. And that's what it really seems like, because before, when this shit all started happening, he said that Cat and them was like childish or shit, right? So I would assume that he probably tried to confront him about it and went downhill from there. So I feel like you can't have communication off the court with your team to try and improve the team's skill. I think that's where they losing each other, and hopefully like he did say he wasn't gonna miss any time. He's gonna play this season. So if they do keep him, hopefully they fix their problems, because I think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna lose him. No one's trying to trade for him, and I really feel like Pat Riley might have fucked up our chances of getting him.
But let me explain something. A lot of people don't understand that Jimmy played with the third stringers, but this is his first time playing basketball since he's tore his ACL, or like late last season. This is his first time playing basketball. He's coming off an injury right now. It's risky. For me, like, you can't hold out in the NBA because of the CBA, the collective bargaining agreement. There's no way you can hold out. You'll get fined and a chance of like a real suspension like for the whole season. So there's no holding out in the NBA. So he has to play. But the thing is that with him, he's risking another injury. You see what happened to Earl Thomas this year. He wanted an extension. He didn't get one. He went out and injured himself. This right is different. He doesn't want to play for the Timberwolves. But let's say he does go out and play for the Timberwolves and hopes he gets a big contract next year, max contract with a team. But he injures himself, holding him back. You see what happened to Boogie. Boogie got $5 million. He got the minimum. He got the minimum, and a lot of people have confirmed reports that nobody offered him other than the Warriors. So like that right there seems like real to me.
I mean, but there are reports that the fucking Pelicans offered him a contract.
I didn't hear that. I heard that they didn't. I heard that they offered him some shitty contract.
It's gonna be extremely hard for me to believe. There's nothing shittier than what the fuck he signed.
Yeah, but
he guarantees a ring, but like,
yeah, exactly. That's what it is.
He's gonna get criticized for that. Listen, my thing is, I don't know. That's a hard subject to touch on, because I don't know how I'd feel about getting criticized my whole career because I got one ring with a team that was stacked.
That's what it is. He got one. Like Robert Horry is one of the greatest clutch shooters of all time. He's been on every great team. He's been on every great team you can think of in the 2000s. He was on those Spurs teams. He was on Lakers teams.
The best point guard and the second best small forward.
But they had the best shooting guard and the best center. They had one or the other. They had the best shooting guard and center. The other team had the best power forward and the best coach.
These niggas have literally arguably the best player at each position, depending on who you talk to.
Like the thing is, it's not like he did what KD did. He didn't sign multiple years. He signed a 1-year minimum contract. He's not going back to the Warriors next year. It's not the kind of guy that he is. But I personally, when I was reading the story about Boogie, it was a E60 thing that came on last week about Boogie. I personally heard that the Pelicans didn't offer, prior to like reports, they didn't offer him a contract. They were in talks again the contract. They decided to go sign Julius Randle. Like they decided to go a different direction than Boogie, because Boogie wanted more than what they were initially gonna offer him. What they was talking about giving him, Boogie wanted more than that. When Boogie figured like, okay, now there's no market for me, he went back to the Pelicans. The Pelicans at that point had already signed Julius Randle, so he didn't have nowhere to go. Nobody was offering him nothing. The Warriors, he called the Warriors himself. The only team who they know what will pounce on an opportunity like this, they signed him. You know what I'm saying? They signed him to him, and that right there, he couldn't get a maximum contract. The point is from the jump, he couldn't get a maximum contract because he tore his Achilles last year. Same thing can happen this year with Jimmy coming off a torn ACL. He may not be able to get a max contract if he does decide to play with this team. what I'm saying? That can happen anywhere, but shoot. Why would you risk it happening with a team you don't want to play for and risk having to re-sign with them or, sign with another team you don't want to play for? It's just a lot that goes into it. But I would definitely like to talk about that Boogie situation more if we got some time at the end. We can definitely talk about that.
I mean, we can talk about it now. I mean, most of the topics. I think we only got a couple more topics anyways. I mean, we talk about it now.
But I don't see people gonna have a problem with what KD did because KD has 2 Finals MVP. He's been a crucial part to this dynasty being built. DeMarcus is not gonna be that. DeMarcus may be a crucial part to them winning this chip, but DeMarcus is not gonna be there next year. You know that for sure.
This is my thing, right, bro? This is my thing. Anthony Davis by himself leading the team got them to the second round in a sweep over Portland, who had Dame Dollar and C.J. McCollum. They weren't expected to win that, and they swept them niggas. Now just imagine how far they can go with DeMarcus. How far do you
I don't think it will be the same.
I honestly, it wouldn't be the. What do you mean it wouldn't be the same?
I don't think it would be. I think they would have. Like if anything, they probably still would have beat Portland, but same thing that happened in the second round would happen again. Like we seen the year before.
Oh yeah, of course, because they're playing the Warriors. But I think that they take a couple games at least
from the Warriors
this year, and then even from the Warriors.
I don't think so. They're not. They weren't there. Like with DeMarcus, and DeMarcus is a ball dominant player. Anthony Davis was able to let Drew Holiday and Rondo handle that load. DeMarcus takes errant shots. DeMarcus, and albeit he's the best center in the league. I think with DeMarcus, that Pelicans team was worse. And a lot of people said it throughout the year. DeMarcus healthy, Anthony Davis healthy. They weren't playing great basketball.
I mean, with KD, the Warriors are worse, but he's still.
How you figure? I mean, everybody's still as efficient, taking as many shots. I don't think they're worse with KD.
I mean, the team plays better when KD's off the floor.
But but they won chips. Like that's what matters.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is just because you think you think the team is runs better without DeMarcus on the floor. I mean, he's still, like you said, the best center in the league, and he's gonna bring something to the table.
Oh, okay, but you're saying the team, the Warriors are worse without KD. So I mean, would they have lost to like the Cavaliers without KD? Well, okay, they would have lost to the Rockets without KD. They would have lost to the Rockets with KD. You never know. They probably could have lost, they probably could have lost to the Cavs.
I wouldn't say that for the simple fact that Curry was the leader of that team every second half, and
yeah, but KD let me look at KD's scoring output in those games, because it's not like KD was sitting there scoring 10.
No, I agree, but the only time that they took the lead is when Curry stepped up and dropped 20 in the third quarter.
Yeah, and that's why basketball is a team sport, because when somebody's not stepping up, another person does step up. With KD on the floor, KD gives you length, KD gives you defense, KD makes it a positionless basketball game. You don't have to sit there and automatically go point guard, shooting guard. You got to make sure you don't got to do that. KD can sit there and play center.
My point is that DeMarcus he would be a huge asset for the Pelicans, and I feel like they could make a big run in the postseason with DeMarcus and Anthony Davis.
The team
that they have right now.
I don't feel that way, because they weren't playing well in the beginning of the last season. They weren't playing well together in the beginning of the last season. They were pretty bad in that first half of the season. Anthony Davis by himself with Drew Holiday and Rondo, when they can play a more basketball team-oriented game, I think that's when they played. And I think that's the difference between what you said. The Warriors play better with KD off the floor. Me personally, I'll have to see numbers for that. But KD with KD on the floor, the fact that they still remain as selfless as they are without him on the floor, that's ridiculous. They all get the same amount of shots. They all as efficient on the floor. It's just more opportunities with KD on the floor. So, opposed to when DeMarcus comes in, DeMarcus takes possessions away from the team just by being ball dominant. Same thing with Russ. It's the same thing with Russ. Russ wants the ball in his hands a lot. Same thing with DeMarcus. DeMarcus, if he could have the ball in his hands like a point guard, he would. I seen it early on in the season. I seen him play the Knicks twice in a row. I seen how he played. He was definitely a cancer to that team. He can't be a cancer to the Warriors, because if he's a cancer to the Warriors, Steve Kerr's gonna sit him down, and the Warriors is gonna have to win the chip the old-fashioned way with the other 4 All-Stars that they have on their team. So, but you know how that goes. I just think that Boogie and Anthony Davis, they weren't in cahoots with each other on the court. and I don't think they would have made any noise in the postseason because they didn't make no noise 2 years ago. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people thought they were gonna make noise in that first run a couple years back. They didn't make no noise then. Like, I don't know. I just felt like Anthony.
It's something that we could debate on all day, but we'll never see it. I mean, I just feel like.
Okay, hold on. Before
Anthony
you go,
Davis.
Before you go, Traffic just said KD slows their pace down. That's why the stats say they score less away from the court. Okay, let me explain something to you. The Warriors, they lost to the Cavaliers because they didn't have no half-court offense. With despite the scoring less, that's a better offense for them because with KD on the floor, they can run a half-court offense. They were only fast break a couple years back. Before KD got there, they were a fast break offense. That when the Cavaliers got in the lanes, it was over for the Warriors. They didn't have no one else to go to. They had Steph Curry shooting threes. They had Klay Thompson shooting threes. There was nobody who could sit there and be like, okay, I'm a post up. I'm gonna hit a couple mid ranges. I'm gonna go inside the arc. I'm gonna go outside the arc. I'm gonna attack the lane. KD is that person. Despite the scoring less, KD brings an added dimension to that offense. He brings a half court offense to that team, which is important, as you've seen in Game 3 last year. When Steph Curry's shots wasn't hitting from 3, when Klay Thompson's shots wasn't hitting from 3, Kevin Durant took over the game in the post. He took over the game in the mid-range. I mean, that's the kind of offense that KD brings to your team. So I just feel like despite the numbers being less, he brings an added dimension to your team. He doesn't shoot threes. That's probably why the scoring is less. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes as well. You know, he doesn't shoot as many threes as Steph and Klay. So when he takes over the game, when he's in the game,
it's not even that. It's just that he literally slows the game down. He ISOs.
Exactly. That's the part that
why they don't get as many points.
Yeah, exactly. And like you seen in Houston, they went to the post instead of the 3-point shot, setting up him for a 3-point shot. They went to the post, and you know that was successful for them. That was successful for them. So you know, hold on.
I mean, I feel like. I don't know. I feel like just DeMarcus being on the team with the Pelicans at that time, I feel like they would have made a way bigger push last season. I don't know. Like I said, I could be wrong. You could be right. I could be right. You could be wrong. We'll never know because he's on the Warriors now. But
yeah, I mean, you see, like look, everybody can stop. But
I'm gonna be interested in seeing how this team plays with DeMarcus because DeMarcus, he's a different kind of player. Like. Then I feel like anyone on the Warriors. Like he might have the same attitude as Draymond when it comes to like being aggressive, getting the
DeMarcus outside of offense,
but it's like
you know, like what impact could he really make on the game? What impact could he really make on the game without the ball in his hands or without him getting his touches? You know, you think about it. Just think about it.
DeMarcus?
Yeah, he's not a great defender.
And that's why I think that his team, like him being on the Warriors. Like the Warriors are the only team in the league I feel like he could make worse, only because of how everyone else on the team is. I don't feel like he's like that.
I don't think he. Look. I know what you think. I know why you're saying that. I can understand why you're saying that. I don't think he will make the Warriors worse because what he brings to the.
I'm saying this is the only team he could possibly make worse.
Yeah, like but what he brings.
Possibly make worse.
What he brings to the table is that even with KD and Steph and Klay, right? Like they were having trouble scoring in some of those playoffs games last year. Call it defense, call it whatever you want. They didn't have a center to go down there and body it up. And as for Traffic's question, how many minutes is Boogie gonna get? I think they all probably get lower 30s. Like when Boogie's healthy, I think they all gonna get like 32, 34, if that. So like, but let's just imagine JaVale McGee.
Fucking crazy.
Just imagine you swap DeMarcus Cousins to for JaVale McGee last playoffs. Just imagine how it felt if you had KD in the post and you see how KD was getting bodied by CP. Now you got somebody who can actually go in the post and body niggas. So yeah, to me is like a win for the Warriors. Of course, like you're getting the best center in the league, you know. But it's not an obvious win. It's not like okay, yeah, they're gonna automatically. I think they was gonna win the chip without DeMarcus, but it's not like an obvious win, like you say. Yeah. Oh, now they're gonna they're gonna blow every team out. It's not like that because there's always an adjustment period.
I mean,
let's get real.
Still,
you know.
I mean, still like like just because they got star power, I mean, everyone has to be able to play together. I mean, yeah. KD and Boogie already had problems in the past. I'm not saying that that's going to resort in anything in the future, but I mean, anything's possible. And as long as like for example, look at the Giants. They got a whole lot of star power, but I mean, or not the Giants. I said Giants. I mean, the Timberwolves.
They had a whole lot of star power.
They got
But you know what they
great
don't?
players, but
You know what they
I
don't
don't think
have?
they're gonna be able to do anything this
Somebody
season.
who know. They don't have somebody who knows how to win. You know, Jimmy Butler can make this. You know, he could rant. He can go on a practice fire. But Jimmy Butler doesn't have a ring. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler doesn't have a ring. He can't go in there and teach a winning attitude if you don't know what a winning attitude is like. With the Warriors, Boogie's going into a team where there's 4 guys who have 2+ chips. KD has 2 finals. I mean, he knows what it takes. Despite what anybody says, this experience for KD, call it a pussy move because it was. Call it weak, it was. But KD's experience with the Warriors will give him a winning mentality. Any team next that gets KD is going to be over. It's going to be over. If KD, look, I know this is wishful thinking, but I know they said that he's going to go to the Knicks. If KD goes to the Knicks with young guys like Porzingis and Kevin Knox, I have full confidence in that because KD knows how to win. KD knows how to win. He knows what it takes to win.
But then, can you really say that?
Yeah, I could.
He knows what it takes to win.
Yeah,
because he's been on the best team in the league when he did win.
But he knows what it took for those guys.
Everything's gonna be different. No, everything's gonna be different. The adjustments are gonna be different for every other team. He's gonna get played differently in every game.
Yeah, he will get played.
He knows how to do it because he did it with Russ, but he's gonna get double teams. He's gonna get pressure now. It's not like he's just gonna be out there and people are gonna be scared to double team him.
The clutch shit. I remember he wasn't clutch in that game 7 and game 6 against the Warriors. Traffic says he hasn't won as a leader of the team. I beg to differ.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I beg to differ.
That's still Curry's team.
I think KD was the leader of that team last year in the finals. Steph Curry got quiet a couple games in those finals. I think KD.
He got quiet one game, bro.
I think, but the last game, game 4, Steph was very inefficient. Game 4, he had a lot of points. He was very inefficient though. He was missing a lot, and it was a blowout. So it was a blowout. But I think, okay, so game 3. If it wasn't for if it wasn't for KD, they would have lost that game. There's not any game that you can say in those finals that you can say.
In the Western Conference Finals, if it wasn't for Curry, they'd have lost game 1 through 7. So like they went into every second half losing. No, no, I'm not taking it. But like realistically, how many games in the Western Conference Finals did Curry come out in the second half and third quarter and light the Houston Rockets up and bring his team back down 10, down 15, down? They were down 20 and won a game. They were down 20 at one point and won that game because Curry comes out in the second half.
Tyler said that he hasn't won as a leader of the team. I agree that the team is Steph Curry's team. But after a while in Miami, right, it wasn't D-Wade's team anymore. It was LeBron's team. I want to even say after the first year, it wasn't D-Wade's team anymore. It was LeBron's team. And D-Wade was happy giving that to him. Steph Curry lost his last finals before KD got on their team.
But the difference is there was a clear difference. I mean,
there was a clear. KD is obviously the best player on that court.
Yes, but like LeBron can get to the finals without anyone. He's proven that. I mean, KD can't get to the finals without someone.
But even when KD was on Oklahoma City, bro, you gotta understand he was in the Western Conference. LeBron is about to fill the Western Conference. I want you to understand something. If LeBron doesn't get a top 3 seed, that's already an effect of him going to the Western Conference. If LeBron doesn't get out the second round, that's already an effect of him.
No, I wouldn't say that because what they were like the 3rd or the 4th seed last season.
Okay, but they got to the finals, right? That's why I brought up the playoffs too as an added thing. If they don't get past the second round, that's already a result of him playing in the Western Conference. Him?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So LeBron got to the finals, with nobodies, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of those, especially not this last year, because last year he actually played real talented teams. But the years prior to that, he played a lot of teams that didn't have a lot of star power. Like he played a lot of teams that was 4-0 sweeps. Milwaukee, one of them. Like, and that was before Giannis really got into the player he is today. He dominated those teams. The Hawks dominated those teams. Like, these are teams that he went through, and he was sweeping like it was nothing. I can't even say like you said, if Boogie played, who did I gotta look at who the Pelicans played 2 years ago in the first round. I think it was the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. They played the Warriors in the first round, and they had Boogie and Anthony Davis. No round for the Warriors are easy. Like no round for KD and the Warriors are easy. Well, obviously they're easy because they got those stars, but
I was about to say. Nigga. Oh, okay, go ahead.
It's the same either way. No, but the Warriors got pushed to the brink in game 7 last year, right? with those 4 stars in the Western Conference Finals. They got pushed to the brink last year. It hasn't been like everybody's saying if the Spurs almost won that first game. If Kawhi didn't get injured, everybody felt like the Spurs would have won. You don't feel that way about somebody who's so dominant.
Nah. Only niggas that say shit like that are niggas that don't like the Warriors, and that's a lot of people.
You don't say that shit against a team that's so dominant that, you know, when the team was blowing you out the first half of the first game of a series, and then they're supposed to win the series. Like if the Warriors were so dominant, nobody would really say that. You know what I'm saying? I do think the Warriors are that dominant, but a lot of people say they're not. Like, and that's what I'm bringing up the point. It ain't the same, but you're right.
But, are people that say they're not credible though? Come on now, let's be real here. They got a top 5 player at each position. Yeah, they're dominant. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
They are dominant. I agree. They are a dominant franchise right now, and next year a lot of people gonna come back down to earth after this year. Oh, the NBA is ruined now. KD is leaving the Warriors next year, and Klay might be leaving the Warriors next year too. But I want to see if these same people are gonna be affected if Klay goes join LeBron. If KD goes join LeBron, I wonder if they're gonna complain about that as well.
Klay would. I feel like Klay. Oh, you said what do you mean?
Like if people gonna hate, if people gonna hate on LeBron, if people gonna hate on LeBron for or people gonna hate on KD, or if they're gonna hate that Lakers team as much as they hate this Warriors team.
I mean,
because the same thing. You have the number 1 and the number 2 player in the league.
This is my thing is right. I don't think people hate the Warriors. People hate KD and for what he did. I mean, if KD brought the hate with him. I mean, like for example, right? You remember how we met, Brett? I didn't fuck with the nigga you was chilling with, so I ain't fuck with you. They don't fuck with KD, so they don't fuck with the team he played for. He brought a lot of hate to the team himself.
But like, I think
the
people should hate the Warriors. If you're gonna hate somebody, hate the Warriors as much as you hate KD, because the Warriors, with the stack team that they already had, went out and pursued KD. They went out and got KD. He bought into that system that the Warriors run. And like,
exactly.
Come on, can anybody?
He chose to go there. But I could tell you to jump off a bridge and tell you every reason why you should do it.
Yeah, but jumping off the bridge is not going to get me 2 chips and 2 Finals MVPs. You understand what I'm saying? He made that decision.
My point is that you jump exactly. He made the decision, so why hate?
But you're not offering me money. If you said, Brett, $4 million, you jump off this bridge and I guarantee you survive, but I'm giving you $4 million, nigga. I'm gonna jump off before you finish your fucking sentence. I'm gonna jump off before you finish your sentence.
You live.
But look, KD, who wouldn't have bought into that? LeBron's team put out a report last year that LeBron was gonna think about going to the Warriors. Like LeBron's team. Did you hear that? Nobody talks about this.
Yeah, I've seen it, but I doubt that would ever happen.
Yeah, but his own team put it out.
You think LeBron's gonna take $5 million? You think LeBron's gonna take $5.4 million?
It would never happen. It would never happen. But all I'm saying is that LeBron had his own team put out a report saying that he was going to the Warriors next year, or that he's gonna think about going to the Warriors. He wanted his team to put that out. I didn't hear no criticism.
Regardless, at the end of the day, anyone that's competitive would not go to the Warriors after they could have won. I mean, if anything, that would have gave me Bro, if we ever play any series of a game and I almost beat you but I lose, that's gonna make me ready for the next. I know what the fuck I gotta fix. Now let's get right into the next one.
To me, that logic kind of don't make sense, because like, okay, let's bring up a game like Fortnite, right? Let's bring up a game like Fortnite, right? I'm gonna say, okay, well, I want the challenge, so I'm gonna go play with 3 other noobs to win.
No.
It's only a problem. That's not the same.
That's not a good comparison. No, because the KD, Russell, and Defender were up 3-1 on the Warriors. You have all the pieces to win, clearly, because you went up 3-1.
They wouldn't have won that series anyway. I'm just saying that.
Okay. So if they come back the next season, so what you're telling me is if you're a professional basketball player playing on a professional team and you're up 3-1 on a team and you lose, you're not gonna have confidence to come back next season and fix what you wrong?
Dude, have you seen the way Russell has played the last 2 years? Have you seen Victor Oladipo become a star in Indiana after playing a year?
Russell hasn't had anyone on his team since KD's left that's better than him.
Okay, so you need somebody who's better than you on your team?
if KD's better than him, Russell doesn't have the ball as much because the ball in KD's hands.
But Russell has always been ball dominant, even when KD was on the team. Russell's been the same player the whole time. That's why KD wanted to leave. Yeah, should we question where he went? Yeah, we should question where he went. Do I question why he didn't stay on OKC? Not for 1 minute.
All right. Well, KD didn't bring up Russell when the fuck he went on his fucking Twitter or Instagram rant. He didn't bring up KD. I mean, Russell, he brought up the coaching staff and this, that, and the third.
Of course he's not going to bring... KD's pussy. Of course he's not going to bring up
KD,
Russ.
Exactly, he's pussy, so he's bringing out burner accounts and he actually don't post it on his name.
So he's pussy. So what are we arguing about?
Who the fuck talks about themselves in third person if they not pussy?
So I just said he's pussy.
I don't blame him. I mean,
okay.
he had a bad coaching staff, and did you see his teammates? It was just
Tyler just said when KD left, Russ won the MVP by having the ball in his hands 99.9% of the time.
Tyler, you know that Russ is a stat pattern. Come on, bro. I don't care how much you argue, Tyler. You know that.
Yeah, like
Russ and James Harden played for MVPs. I don't care what anyone says. Them two niggas are the only two in the league that right now are playing for MVPs.
You saying that Russ hasn't had nobody on his team better than him, right? And that may be true in the grand scheme of things. But last time I checked, Victor Oladipo left the Thunder, took his team further than the Thunder went in the playoffs, and the Thunder on paper had a better team than the Indiana Pacers. That's all you need. That's all you need to say. That's all you need to say. And Russ,
we're gonna give that all to Russ. I mean, look, KD said it himself. Look at the coaching staff.
Billy Donovan has been successful at every venture in his career.
Whenever Melo was good, when was he ever a spot-up shooter for the Knicks? He was at his best. In his prime, has he ever been a spot-up shooter?
That's not them telling Melo to take those shots. That's Melo taking them shots himself. You know Melo. Melo don't listen to nobody.
They turned him into a spot-up shooter. He doesn't get the ball now.
But so
that's why I think that Melo's gonna strive.
And who fault is that? You think Russ is gonna give up the ball?
Coaching. That's the coaching. They want Russ to have the ball.
You're telling me right now that Russ will give up the ball to Melo? For any ISO, for any post-up, you're telling me right now Russ had a hard time giving the ball to Victor Oladipo. That's why he couldn't show his talent. You're telling me right now that Russ would have been willing.
I guarantee Russ don't have no problem giving the ball to PG. But that's because I feel like the team has more faith in PG than any team has in Melo.
Bro, Melo hasn't. Even his last 2 years.
Melo's been arguably the second best scorer in the last 10 years after KD. We could put KD over. But besides KD,
I agree.
He's been the best scorer in the league.
The last 10 years. What about the last 3? What about the last 3?
He averaged over 22 before last year. Every season before. Last season is his worst season.
There's no possible way. There's no possible way. He was injured half the season. After season 2 seasons ago. I know for a fact he didn't average 22 that season. And if he did average 2, it was throughout the games he played.
Okay, but my point is he's not able to play his style of basketball.
Melo's style of basketball? Bro, when did Melo's style of basketball work? That's why the Rockets didn't make it to the finals. Melo's style of basketball is ISO, and they went and got another ISO player. Melo needs the ball in his hands to be effective. Russ needs the ball in his hands to be effective. PG is the only player on that team that can play off ball.
Chris Paul and James Harden also need the ball in their hands to be effective, and they got 1 game away from the finals.
Exactly, but the problem is they kept running that same system. That's why they didn't get to the finals. 1 game don't count. 1 game away from the finals don't count. They kept playing that same system. Shooting threes, ISO ball, it don't work. You have to push the ball.
That system never let them down when they were all healthy. I mean, the system's not going to work when it's only 1 player able to do it.
So if Chris Paul was healthy, if Chris
Paul can stay healthy, and I'd say Melo could play 75% of what he was on the Knicks, and James Harden does him. Yeah, they could not this season, but like last season they could have done good.
There's not enough ball for all of them. I'm telling you right now. I'll let you know that right now.
First of all, they got Melo for when they want to bench James Harden and Chris Paul. That's what the fuck they got Melo for.
You know Melo's not
going to be.
You know Melo's not going to be okay with coming off the bench. And even if he is okay with coming off the bench, when Melo comes in the game, right? You're either going to put him in the game with Chris Paul, which will be better, or James Harden, which is the same thing as James Harden needs the ball in his hand to make plays. James Harden is not a good off-the-ball player. He needs the ball in his hands to play to make plays.
And then again, on top of that, it's like not James Harden, but Chris Paul and Melo already have a relationship. They're friends outside of basketball. That's gonna play a factor too. this is all this stuff is gonna add. It's gonna be a positive thing for them.
So Tyler said ISO. He said ISO had that system literally has beat every team in the league except the Warriors. That does count for something. Okay, the most winningest team the last 20 years has been the Spurs. They do not run ISO ball. The most successful teams, the Warriors, they don't run ISO ball. The most successful teams, the best franchises in NBA history.
When the Warriors are down, they run fucking ISO ball.
Well, I mean, they give the ball to their best player and he posts up and he works out of that position. He works out of that position. He works out of that position. It's not like KD's first mindset is to score. He sees what he got. That's the luxury of having a lot of great players on your team.
If KD's first thought wasn't to score, then why did Steve Kerr have to bring that nigga to the sideline and tell him to look for his teammates and to trust his teammates in the middle of a fucking timeout?
Because
I don't know if you remember, but I clearly fucking remember it.
It's the Western Conference Finals. They're down by a lot of points.
Because he was looking to score.
They're down by a lot of points. Okay, but you're getting mad at KD for looking to score. But KD, that's what he does.
But you're saying that's not what he does. But
so
you just said he didn't do
Tyler,
that.
tell me the last team that won with ISO ball.
The fucking Warriors beat the Rockets with ISO ball. Giving the ball to KD, let you do you.
I'm talking about a championship. Who won a chip with ISO ball?
The Rockets would have won last year. I don't care.
You keep saying the Rockets would have won. Ain't no would have. Ain't no would have in the NBA. They ain't no would have. They ain't no would have.
Okay, well, regardless, at the end of the day, they need more. The Rockets, what they need is more players when James Harden and Chris Paul are out of the game. That's their biggest problem. They have no offensive talent when those two are not on the floor.
So Eric Gordon wasn't offensive talent? Ryan Anderson, who was one of the best three-point shooters as a big man, he didn't get no minutes in that game, in that series. He's not an offensive talent. Let's get real. You mix and match.
Why didn't he get minutes?
So when CP's on the bench, that means that James Harden's on the floor. They don't both rest at the same time. So at one point or another, you have either CP on the floor and James Harden on the floor.
Is it easier to guard two people or just one?
They're guarding. The Warriors never doubled any of them. They guarded both of them. They guarded both of them with one person. None of those two players ever got doubled, even when there was the only person on the floor. That shows that the Houston Rockets had threats.
Spread the court. Yeah, exactly. So when one of their threats get injured or they want to come out, they got other players to come in and take over the offensive load.
They had let's get real. So if Chris Paul, I want to bring this up. If Chris Paul was playing, would they make any of those threes that they missed in that game? Well, I forgot what game it was. Either game 6 or it was game 7, where they went 0 for 20 something and 3-pointers. Chris Paul would have affected that. And James Harden was a part of that too. James Harden was a part of that too.
They just played like shit. They played like shit.
They were up. But you can't say because they were up in every single game without Chris Paul. Yes. No, without Chris Paul, they were up in every single game at halftime. They were up in both of those games at halftime by a 10-point lead.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were. They were up in 10 points in both of those games in halftime.
I'm gonna look at it like that.
I'm telling you. I was watching both of those games.
I was watching them too.
So then you would have knew they was up by 10 points at halftime in game 6 and 7.
What is it fucking fuck? Alright.
Okay, in game 1, in game 6, Houston outscored Golden State. So at the end of the second half, Golden State had 44. At the end of the first half, what was that? 47. I'm trying to see how you do that math. So it'll be 40 plus 30. That'll be 70 minus 2. It was 68 to 44. No, I'm tripping. 22, 30, 41 to 63. That was the end of the first half in game 6. Or 51 to 63. That's a 12-point lead. 12-point lead in game 7 or 11-point lead.
Bro, why is it so fucking difficult to find this shit?
And then Houston had 54. Houston had 54 at the end of the half, game 7. Golden State had 43. So they was up by 11 again in that game. They were up at half in game 6 and 7 by more than 10 points.
At the end of the day, Chris Paul would have. So what you're saying is Chris Paul wouldn't have helped that team come out with the win?
I mean, you just never know. Like, you just never know if Chris Paul would even got that team to win. They probably would have played differently with Chris Paul.
Based off how Chris Paul played the whole series, do you think he would have pulled out that one?
I can't say. I honestly can't say. It'll be tough to tell. You just never know how people react to to a system being ran. They had to run more. They had to run more pick and roll with Eric Gordon at the point guard. That's just facts. They had to run more pick and roll with Eric Gordon at the point guard.
And Eric Gordon is not the most consistent player in the NBA, so.
But he's not no slouch. In fact, he's one of the better six men in the league.
Definitely not, but he's definitely not one of the most consistent players. Like,
and if you want to talk about players, you could say the same thing for James Harden, because he was silent in that game 7, and he's supposed to be the one that's scary.
No, James Harden played shit to me in that whole Western Conference Finals. And he still averaged 26.
Not in the whole Western Conference Final. He played bad in those last 2 games. I
feel like there's multiple games he could have played. There was one game where he dropped 30 fucking points, or 30-something points. He scored 6 points in the second half.
That's just good defensive adjustments. And the same thing is the same thing when you see Clay getting shut down or Steph getting shut down. You know, you pick your poison.
It doesn't happen. When does it happen? You gonna say 2016?
Game 3 of the finals. That's when it happened. That game 3 of the finals. Steph Curry went to
that doesn't matter because they won, right?
Yeah, they won because of KD. But I'm just saying, when you choose to shut down, which player from the Warriors.
You named one game. You named one game that's the only game you can name since 2016 for Curry.
I'll give you another game right now.
James Harden had multiple games in one series. At the end of the day, James Harden should have played better that series. He played great defensively, I'll give him that, but offensively, they needed more out of him.
Okay, right? So, Steph, it's the finals. The way you look at it is just, let's take it about one game. It's the finals. So, 22 points for Steph Curry is enough. This is the guy.
On that team, yes.
This is the guy. Okay, in that same game, KD had 29. Clay had 23. This is why I say, when people talk about how great the Warriors are, let's not talk about how completely old and depleted their bench is from 4 years ago. People act like it's just such the easiest ride.
And those 3 players still put up 60 points. And with DeMarcus Cousins, that's even more points. So
they put up 60. They put up 60 points. They put up 60 points, and they end up losing that game by 4. They lost game 5 by 4 points. They put up 60 points. Just imagine if somebody off the bench came in and actually contributed. Their highest scorer off the bench was Kevon Looney with 4. He didn't even come off the bench that game. Sean Livingston had 2 points. Jordan Bell had 2 points off the bench. Everybody else had nothing. So the only 2 bench contributions in that game was Sean Livingston and Jordan Bell. Andre Iguodala was injured that whole series. And that's something nobody take into account either. Everybody talks about the Chris Paul loss, but Andre Iguodala has been vital to that team regardless of his points or not. Andre Iguodala has been vital to that team from jump.
Andre Iguodala, he's the Draymond when Draymond's out.
Exactly.
He's a big part of that role. He didn't win Finals MVP for nothing. I don't think he deserved it, but he didn't win it for no reason. But what were we talking about? Fuck.
KD. We was talking about KD. Initially, we was talking about KD. Let me just see what Tyler wrote. Russ did give up the ball. Come on, with no. Come on now. Melo still took 16 shots a game. Okay, so then that's counteracting your argument, Ty.
If he's still taking 16 shots a game beyond the 3-point line.
He was doing that in New York. And in my defense, in my argument defense, he was doing that with the Knicks. And I watched a lot of Knicks games during Melo's time.
Okay, so where is Melo more dominant from? The 3-point line
The
or the
post.
mid-range?
There's no.
The post,
It's the
mid-range,
post.
right?
It's the post. Yeah, the post mid range. That's what Melo is the best player he can possibly be. I agree with you, Todd. I agree with you, but let's not. You can put a lot of stuff on the coaching staff of OKC because I'll go with you. I'll go with you. What I would say though is Billy Donovan, head coach, he's been successful at every venture in his career. Coming to the NBA shouldn't be this hard. It's gonna be hard when you have a player who wants to dominate the ball and isn't the best shooter. Simple. Russ is not the best shooter. You have Kobe who can dominate the ball. Kobe can score from anywhere on the floor. That's why Kobe could dominate the ball. Russ is a streaky shooter. Like, you know where he scores. He scores 40 points on 40 shots. You tell me if that's sufficient or not. You know.
Now, this is my thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Let me look at this. All right. So Melo is not the best shooter. He's never been a great 3-point shooter.
No, he hasn't.
He has only had a couple seasons where he's even averaged 40. He's only had one season where he's averaged 40%
He's
from the
formidable
3.
at best.
So forcing him to shoot 6 or 15 shots from the 3 is not going to help.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is he's only getting 9 other shots.
But what I'm telling you is that when he was on the Knicks, he was taking those threes willingly. We didn't have a coach that could tell Melo what to do. Melo was doing that willingly. Melo wanted to improve his 3-point shot. Okay, that's why he started taking them more.
Okay, so would you rather do something at your own will, like when you want to, or would you rather be forced to do it? Because on the Thunder, he's forced to take threes.
Okay, so what's he going to do?
He's forced to wait for Russell to pass it to him.
Okay, even though it was a joke, right? The other day, Melo took a mid-range shot, and he apologized to Mike D'Antoni for not taking a 3, right? Even though it's a joke, let's get realistic. Mike D'Antoni, he runs a fast offense. He runs a 3-point shooting offense.
Melo's gonna take drive and kick.
Melo's gonna take a lot of those threes anyway this year, whether he likes it or not. And let's talk about the real reason why he was taking threes. Let's talk about the real reasons. Since Steph Curry has changed the league, every team, you can't tell me there's one coach except for Popovich in the league that would rather have a 2 than a 3. A lot of these coaches are okay with James Harden taking that step back 3. You want to know why? Because it results in 1 extra point. Same thing with Chris Paul. I've seen Chris Paul take more threes than I've ever seen in his career during that series in the Western Conference Finals. I don't know if you was watching that. I know you was watching the games with me, so you've seen it. I know you've seen it too. Chris Paul was taking.
At the same time, you didn't see Chris Paul shy away from the mid-range either.
No, he didn't.
And if Mike D'Antoni had a problem with it, he would have told Chris Paul.
No, Chris Paul didn't shy away from it. But who's going to tell that to Chris Paul? Chris Paul's the reason why your team is making it this far. Prior to Chris Paul, you wasn't making it to the Western Conference Finals.
And Chris Paul obviously knows. Chris Paul is one of the best mid-range shooters of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
exactly. There's no discussion.
And Melo's up there in that conversation with him.
Yeah, but the reason why Chris Paul can take those mid-range shots because Chris Paul has the ball in his hands. When as a point guard, you feel out where you're going with the ball. You have the ball. Melo, like as long as I'm not bugging, I know Melo's not gonna have the ball in his hands. I know for a fact Melo's not gonna have the ball in his hands.
Not 24/7. He's not gonna have the ball in his hands like he did on the Knicks.
Look, I'll say one thing. He'll get more post opportunities than he got in OKC. But then again, OKC runs a fast offense as well. There wasn't never a time. Russell, you know how Russell Westbrook runs with a chick with no head. He runs to the basket. He tries to get a layup. It's sporadic. He throws it all over the place. He shoots crazy shots. That's Russell Westbrook for you. That's what you get when you play with Russell Westbrook. He's not gonna come down and look at the post and see if he can dish it to you in the post. That's never been Russ. It's never been one thing I could admire about Russ is that he's always been consistent to what his game is. He's a ball dominant player.
And if it's not working, he stays consistent. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem. Yeah, let's play right.
Let's go.
That's the problem.
Let's lose
He's been
some more.
consistent. Look, there's the reason why niggas don't like KD is because KD is a little bit flaky. He's flaky. You just don't never know where his mind is at. The reason why niggas like Russ is because he keeps it real. Right? He does what he wants.
This is my thing. Chris Paul is one of the best mid-range shooters. Granted, he went to the Rockets last season. He shot more. He averaged more three points attempts than he's averaged all his whole career.
Yeah.
But he didn't. On average, he didn't take more than 3 threes a game.
Okay.
I just looked at the numbers. On average, he didn't take more than 3 threes a game, and that's still in Mike D'Antoni's offense, right?
Oh, that's on average. So there might have been some games where he took 6, 7. You just never know. Like that's on average.
Of course, niggas got this. Niggas get hot. Niggas get heat check. Yeah, go ahead. I mean, he went off in the fucking. He took a couple crazy threes against the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals.
You see the one where he
when he shimmied, yeah. So he can't. It's not like he can't do it. But my point is when Chris Paul I doubt there's nothing in my mind that makes me think that Chris Paul or James Harden aren't gonna let Russell or Melo touch the ball at all. I don't think that.
Look, here's what I would say. Here's what I would say. Like I said, he will be getting more post opportunities just because D'Antoni has coached Melo on the Knicks before, so he knows what Melo is good at. He's gonna try to get him open, see if Melo. But look, you know, a lot of people don't want to look at it this way, but Melo has decreased as a player. A lot of people don't ever want to see that part.
Of course. I mean,
Melo has
he's
decreased
older.
as a player.
I've been saying that for years.
I don't know if Melo still got the turnaround jumper. I don't know if that's happened. I don't see him. I didn't see him making that shit consistently on the Thunder. But like I said, Chris Paul is a more willing passer. That's why I said that Melo, whenever he chooses to have the post scoring in his arsenal, CP will make sure he feeds that. In fact, it was CP's idea to bring Melo in. They're like best friends. CP, if anybody knows what Melo likes to do,
gonna fucking help.
If anybody knows what Melo likes to do is CP. CP will get him the ball in the post. But if it's not working, or if they need points, I doubt the CP will go there. If anything, ball's in James Harden's hands, and you know James Harden penetrates, he kicks.
I don't care what anyone says about Melo. Melo's not fucking retarded. Melo's not fucking. I don't care. Niggas want to win. Melo is 30-some years old. That nigga wants to win by now. If he doesn't let James Harden, if he has a problem with James Harden taking the last shot, then I'll take back everything I fucking said.
Ty, for somebody who's watched Melo my whole life, basically, bro, Melo was
the best team. Was he not the best player on those teams?
Yeah, he was. Well, he was. But you know what stopped him from being the great? Right you want to know what stopped him from being the best? Though, you want to know what stopped him from being the best? Whenever the ball got in his hands, he would shoot. That's what stopped him from being the best. Whenever the ball got in his hands, whenever there was a double team, he would never kick out. He would shoot. Let's get real. Melo's great. He's a great scorer. He never had that relentless attitude like Kobe did. He never can go in there and dominate on the inside like Kobe did. He was always a mid-range player. Melo showed a lot of himself at the end of his Knicks tenure. Whenever he got the ball in the post, you can kick out for a three. The system would have worked so much better, and that's what the triangle system was there for. Whenever somebody gives in the post, you can kick out. There's a lot of options in the triangle. Melo always wanted to take the turnaround jumper. And last year, I seen some of the same traits from Melo. Whenever he got a chance to touch the ball, he would shoot the ball. Now, I'm not trying to say that Chris Paul hasn't changed Melo's mind on how to switch up and how to win a championship, but Melo's not going to change after 1 year. Melo's just going to be the same Melo his whole career. Always taking shots. Always taking shots. Always taking shots. It's like, okay, boom. Perfect example. Now, they're not in the same caliber as players, but Lou Williams, right? Lou Williams puts up a lot of points. One of the best six men in the league.
Williams. Oh, yeah, Lou Williams. All right, yeah.
Lou Williams puts up a lot of points. He's one of the best six men in the league. Lou Williams doesn't have the best shot selection, but his coach won't sit there. Doc Rivers won't call him over and say, Lou, you got to stop taking those shots. Nigga, that's his shot. That's his shot. Melo probably feel the same way. That's why Melo tried to extend range to the three. He did that in New York. For the last 2 seasons he was in New York, he tried to extend his range to the three. He started shooting those threes a lot. He wasn't hitting a lot. That was a Melo choice. When he went to OKC, shit, Billy Donovan was like, okay, you can take threes. Hey, you can take threes. He's not hitting them. So you can't, like, that was Melo's problem going into OKC. OKC is like a drug. Okay, here, you like this three-pointer? Come here, take this. Come here, you can have it. Anyone you want. Any three-pointer you want. I will say they worsened his problem. But Melo already had the three-point problem from coming out of New York. It's up to Chris Paul. I'll agree with you. Look, I'll switch my whole opinion and change it to yours if Chris Paul got to his head and said, look, it's about winning championships at this venture in our career.
I feel like it's a lot easier when you're around your friends and if you want to win, and if Melo, I don't. Bro, he's 34 years old. I'm not gonna call any grown-ass nigga stupid. You can't be that fucking dumb.
He's not stupid, nigga, but there's a lot of niggas who prioritize.
If you wanna win,
you know how. You know how no, I'll say he's not stupid, but it's just a lot of niggas who prioritize numbers over winning.
He's 34 years old. It's just tight. He's got to be past that by now. There's no way. And like I said, if he does some dumb shit like takes the last shot and not give it to James Harden, I'll change my whole outlook on Melo. But until then, I haven't seen Melo like all last season. He wasn't in the right set.
Oh, even in this preseason. Even in this preseason, I've seen him take a lot more threes than he's taking middies and post turnaround. So
I haven't watched any Rockets preseason.
Yeah, I watched all of the highlights for every game they played. I watched like the highlights of NBA every night. Every you go on YouTube, they be there. So I've seen a lot of the Rockets highlights. He hasn't taken a lot of mids. I don't know if it's him, if it's his preference now. He may know something we don't know. Maybe he worked on his three-pointer in that little ass gym this year.
Then again, I feel like there's niggas like him, Chris Paul, LeBron. Them niggas probably. I don't feel like they trying preseason. Shit, LeBron was down 20 points to the fucking Nuggets, laughing on the sideline. At halftime, nah.
Yeah, of course. Of course, in terms of winning, yeah, they don't give a fuck. But in terms of how the preseason is a chance for you to try to get your system looking good. You know what I'm saying? That's how you got to run. Despite how much fun they're having, they're probably still running their system, just trying to glorify it a little bit, make sure they get a little feel of how it goes and shit. You know what I'm saying? But look, like I said, I'll change my mind
before the season starts to get somebody, some actual some other pro players go against.
Yeah. But like you said, I changed my mind. If CP got to Melo and said, "Look, winning is the most important thing at this venture in our career," I'll change my mind. If I see Melo starting to play more of a post offense, but I'm telling you right now, in an offense that was designed to take more mid ranges and more inside buckets, Melo still took threes. I just have a hard time believing that Melo is gonna change. But that's just me. I know Melo. Shit, at one point in my career, bro, at one point in his career when he was with the Knicks, I even had Melo as a better scorer than KD. Now, obviously, that's not the case no more, but that's how I felt at one point. I know how great of a scorer Melo is, and when Melo catches fire, there's not a lot of people in this league who can score with Melo when he's hot. I'll tell you that much right now. Like, and one of them is one of the people that could match up with him is on his team. That's the scary part. One of the people that could match up with him is James Harden, Steph Curry, KD. Those guys can match up with him. Even Braun. And Braun is not what you call a scorer, but Braun still puts up 27, not looking for a shot. That's crazy. So
this is my thing, right? I just how much I got I got Melo averaging 20+ points this season on 45% shooting.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like that right there, the numbers don't surprise me. Is the fit? You said on what, 45% shooting? That's about right. If not lower, I'll go
like
lower.
right in between for.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Melo's gonna drop all the way to back down to 40. Like he shot like 40 last year. I don't see him doing that.
Yeah, no, he's gonna.
I see him on the 45 area.
Not having to play with Russ, bro. That's such a blessing, bro. Because I can just see it with Victor Oladipo. Victor Oladipo plays more free now. KD, you see,
and then this is my thing, right? Another thing, the backup Russ. If Russ was so bad, I don't think PG would have signed when he could have went and played with LeBron.
Nah, Russ. You know what Ennis Cantor said, bro? Skill aside, basketball aside, Russ is one of the best teammates in the league. Russ got his team back. PG felt the love from Russ. It's not hard to recruit somebody on something that's other than because Russ got a big payday too from that contract. He didn't get the biggest, but he also got a big payday. He didn't get the lowest. That's what I should say. He got what he felt was good. To go back and play with Russ, you want a team that can compete. You know what I'm saying? You want a team that can compete, but PG has to know that team can't win. Next year, bro, everybody's going to get their panties out of a bunch and realize that the NBA is up for grabs again. The NBA is up for grabs again. Steph and Clay and Draymond, they'll be back on the Warriors. That's going to be the old Warriors again. But you know what they're going to have space to do without a max contract to KD?
I don't think that the Warriors lose this season again.
You said they don't what?
They don't lose this season. I think they go quick three-peat.
Yeah, nigga, me and you on the same page with that. Like, yeah, why?
There's no, niggas put like the Rockets in the comment.
Broussard said this shit. You know Chris Broussard? I know you probably heard of him. Or you probably watched him.
I know who that is.
Broussard said he feels like the Warriors should go all out this season, break the win record, and win the chip. And I don't think that's far fetched. I think that's what you do. You want to end the dynasty the right way? KD is leaving next year. There's no question about it. KD had the chance to sign the biggest contract he's gonna possibly be able to sign last year in this past offseason. He didn't sign it. He signed the one and then an opt out. He signed a 2-1. 2 years of opt out after the first.
But he did that shit. He did that shit his first season. He came there too.
Yeah, he did. He did that every single season since he's been in the Warriors. Yeah. The only thing is that this he did that because to get to this, where the cap is gonna be the highest, was this year, so he can get the highest contract from Max. He didn't take the highest contract from Max. He's not gonna be able to get what he could have got this year and next year. And then people say he wants to go to New York. To me that would be such a fucking It would be so different. It would be so different than what you used to see in the NBA. But it would be so unique and so good with KP and KD, bro. Bro, that would be different. Bro. That'd be different. Like, you feel me? And you know, Kyrie not coming to the Knicks. You know, so I guess it's all in on KD.
I mean, but you know how I feel about rumors. I mean, I don't really believe in them that much.
Bro. They said the Knicks had a chance to get KD the first time around. Come on.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, shit. Who thought KD was even gonna leave the first time around?
And then on top of all the points that we're mentioning, KD, you know the kind of person he is. He lets people control what he does. You feel me? That's why he went to the Warriors in the first place, because people was in his ear. Draymond was in his ear, like, so.
I mean, it'd be great to see him go to another team, even if he was to go to the East. I don't think that he would. I honestly wouldn't say that he'd be able to win a championship in the East. I'm gonna be honest here. The Celtics are just gonna get better. I don't see the Celtics getting worse anytime soon. I don't know about you. I mean, they got a lot of young talent that's only gonna get better. I mean, I think that they were talking about. I know Terry Rozier isn't gonna sign an extension this offseason, but who knows how that goes.
Immediately.
Yeah.
If KD leaves the Warriors, the Rockets are the best team in the NBA. If KD leaves the Warriors, the Rockets are the best team in the NBA.
You know what I mean? Let me think about this. That's if they keep everybody else?
Like, or the Lakers. Albeit, like, look, KD leaves, they still keep Clay. So if KD leaves, I have no doubt in my mind that Clay is going to stay in Golden State. It's one or the other that's leaving there. They're not keeping both.
So what do you think DeMarcus does? You think he leaves or he stays? Yes?
DeMarcus leaves.
Okay, so you're saying if KD and DeMarcus?
KD and DeMarcus leave. Yep. It's just a 2016 roster. Except with less bench players, because Iggy might retire. Exactly. Iggy might retire. Sean Livingston is not the same, so yeah, it's worse than the 2016 team. But they would have more cap space to sign better bench players. That's what I would say. And I feel like without KD there, a lot of niggas would want to go play for the Warriors. So I don't know. You just never know. But let's say the Rockets or the Lakers immediately become the best teams in the league, along with the Celtics. I'm sorry not to disrespect the East. Like, I do think the Celtics are up there with the Rockets and the Lakers, so I'm gonna put the Celtics up there with them. I don't think the Raptors are up there with them. I don't think the Wizards, like, those teams haven't proven nothing to me. The Celtics took LeBron to Game 7, albeit LeBron didn't have nobody on that team. Taking LeBron to Game 7 is hard as fuck to do. Beating LeBron is hard as fuck to do when he hasn't lost in anything other than the finals in what?
8 years.
8 years. So, I mean, yeah, you know how that goes.
This is gonna be an interesting season.
I can't wait. I honestly fucking can't wait, bro. The 16th can't come fast enough, bro. I swear to God, the 16th can't come. I've been so excited for the basketball season this year. I mean, not for my team, but like just to see all the storylines that happen over the offseason.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thing I want. Like, I'm not even really focused on my team until we really started talking about getting Jimmy Butler, which I don't think we're gonna get him.
Usually, if it's not even Jimmy Butler, it's like into the middle of the season when shit start getting down to the wire. But what I want to see is LeBron that home debut in the Staples Center.
Yes, Ham. I want to see Melo's debut too.
Melo's debut, fucking. I know this is like underratedly weird, but I want to see Tony Parker in a different uniform. I want to see a whole bunch of shit. Like,
yeah, I ain't watching the Hornets game. I'm sorry.
I don't even want to see him play. I just want to see him in a different uniform. See how that shit look. I want to see DeRozan. How DeRozan fit on the Spurs.
The nigga played the preseason game. He played.
I haven't watched any Hornets preseason.
But shit, I don't even know why I did, nigga.
So I want to see DeRozan.
No, I think I seen on Instagram.
I want to see DeRozan on the Spurs. I want to see Kawhi on Toronto.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Right? Like,
I want to see Kawhi.
So much crazy shit that's happening this year. I want to see Kyrie bounce back. Of course, I want to see Gordon Hayward bounce back. I want to so much shit, bro. I want to see how the Cavaliers fare without and Stream.
It's sad. All these niggas we naming are gonna beat the Heat, and the Heat are gonna go all the way to the finals.
You already know how that go. Heat all day. Heat number one. You feel me? What are we back in 2011 or some shit? Anyway, Stream. Like, look at all the topics we just named. Like, you can't tell me you're not excited as much as we are excited. And guess what? We'll be talking about it from now to the end of basketball season. We'll be talking about everything that happens. I want you guys to tune in every single show because it will be a spectacular show. And by then, during basketball season, there's nothing set in stone. But me and Tyler, we're thinking about going back to 5 days.
We're going to porn. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we're going back to 5 days. We're thinking about going back to 5 days. We're not sure yet. We just gotta see how everything works out. And hopefully, just with a continued buzz, if you guys continue to give us a buzz, hopefully we can maybe one day interview a superstar while he's playing his game, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, interview not even a superstar, just a regular player, just to get insight on how the sport really is played. That's where we plan on taking things. Plan on taking things real far. So we appreciate you guys for watching. I don't know if there's anything else to talk about, but I'm sure we went over our time today. So
I mean, we ain't go over time. We don't got no time to go over. I mean, and there's nothing really else.
So the stream is over. I'm gonna talk to you guys another day. Yeah, let me stop. Now the Yankees lost. Shout out, shout out to the Yankees. They played a good season. Respect goes out to Boston. They played a hell of a series. Great pitching all around. Great hitting by Brock Hall, Ian Kinsler.
Yankees fan giving a Red Sox
You gotta
fan
give respect where it's due. So,
even when it's the Red Sox?
Even when it's the Red Sox. I know. I hate myself for saying it too, but I've given my respect to Tom Brady. If I can give my respect to Tom Brady, I can give that shit to anybody. Anybody got my respect. That's how.
I only give Tom Brady respect for the stream. Fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah, we're talking. We're playing. But anyway, we're going thank you guys for coming out and watching us. To all the viewers who commented, remember when you come to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Remember to subscribe to my other channel, Novaciane Gaming. Tyler, that's our gaming channels. Tyler's other channel, TyThaGoat, capital T, capital T, capital G. The links are in the description. We appreciate everybody for coming out today. Like I said, thank you guys. We'll talk to you later. See you on the next episode.